Drum for the Song podcast.
Hi, so I'm here with Nigel Glockler now. He's in his room in his house. I'm in my room in my house. We're recording this during the coronavirus epidemic at the moment. I'm not sure when you're listening, but this is when we recorded this. So thank you, Nigel, firstly, for taking the time out of your afternoon.
You're very welcome. As I said, not as if we got a lot, much else to
Yeah,
do.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. But, I don't know. It's quite sunny today where I am. I don't know about you, but
Yeah, it is. It's here too.
it's nice and sunny, which is nice. So I guess we might be able to spend some time outside later. They recommend that, don't they?
Oh,
Thanks for agreeing to do it as well. This is quite new for me, and it's kind of an honor really to have you on. You're actually my first interview of this series, so really appreciate that. So I guess we'll start off. What do you think about this coronavirus situation with regards to the industry? Did you have much booked?
yeah. I mean, we had, it was that we had sort of three big shows. We had Glasgow Barrowlands, Hammersmith Odin, or whatever they call it now, Hammersmith
Yeah,
Apollo.
yeah, one of those. Yeah,
Manchester thing, and they were all sold out.
yeah,
And then loads of festivals.
yeah. You do a lot of festivals generally, don't you?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we had quite a few booked up all over the place. So obviously they've all gone. So, I think the UK gigs, they were initially thinking maybe September, but I can't see this lifting before then.
No.
I can't. Well, by then I can't see it. I really can't.
Yeah, I know what you mean. We've got a few in the UK that either have postponed till September, but whether that's going to happen or not, I think some of them are hopeful that they might happen, but I don't want to be too negative about it, but
No.
I also don't want to get my hopes up too much. So I'm just trying to be realistic, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, anything can happen in a couple of months, really. So we'll just have to see. But then you start thinking, well, is the venue going to be available?
Yeah, exactly. And will they have time?
Initially, we were doing these shows last year, but then Biff had his art thing.
Yeah.
So they got moved to now, and we did the three European ones that we were due, and then so we thought, right, okay, there was going to be a little gap, and then these British ones, gone, bang, But at least we got three of them done anyway.
So were they the first three shows since Biff's illness? Or did you?
Yeah, because we did. Where the hell did we play? We did a gig in Belgium, one in Holland, and then we did a big 40th anniversary with the whole stage set and everything in Dusseldorf.
Oh wow!
Which was great, but then of course, poor road crew. All this gear came out with massive, great stage set, video screens, everything, and then the sort of trucks are waiting to come over here, and then of course our crew have got to go back and unpack it all again because of this.
Yeah. Oh, so it was really close then to the kind of the
it
lockdown
was.
time.
Yeah, it was.
It's such a shame.
Yeah.
I guess you can be fairly confident once it is all over, though. The punters are still going to want to see the show if you reschedule.
Hope so.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. But yeah, it's a shame because I guess you would have been ready to go after the European shows.
We can do it, when the venues are available.
Yeah.
Because obviously they've got to be, those three shows have got to be pretty close together.
Yeah.
You can't have one month and then another one 2 months away. It's just, again, it's down to venue availability. So we're just, fingers crossed.
Yeah, and you need to make it work logistically for yourselves, as well,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know. Yeah, apart from obviously the festival season, I'm wondering whether it's going to affect just touring in general, ongoing. Do you think venues are going to be stricter with capacities or anything like that, or do you think it's going to go back to how it was?
That is so hard to say. I mean, the whole thing. I mean, apparently a lot of venues are struggling. We might lose a lot.
Well,
A lot of the smaller venues they're talking about.
yeah, the longer it goes on, the more chance of that happening,
Yeah,
sadly.
there's that. I mean, the only other way you can do it is, everyone gets sort of like temperature screening or something coming into the gig. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
No one. I guess no one knows.
It's just a case of suck it and see. We'll just have to see what happens,
Yeah.
But hopefully it'll get back to normal. I mean, from a point of view, people always want to go to gigs and music and stuff. So
Exactly. It's one thing that obviously music has many.
Yeah,
music has many forms, but you can't really get a live music situation. Like, I know people are doing concerts online and broadcasting, but it's not the same as being there with an audience. You can't.
I'd feel a bit weird going in a studio and like sort of with a camera in front trying to do a full gig, because you wouldn't get the vibe back off the audience.
Yeah, you wouldn't get the vibe, and I think that's the important thing as a performer, and for an audience member sitting down looking at your laptop in your living room, even if even if the band are playing live, half of the experience is being there with an audience and the ambience of the room, and that's the main thing. So I don't know, and I've had
quantity,
Yeah. I don't know if one day they can fake that in like a virtual reality situation. I always think maybe that might happen one day, but it won't. You won't be able to.
I'm sure I read somewhere for some football stadium they were talking about having cardboard cutout people in the bloody stadium.
That's amazing. I haven't heard that. That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
I think I read something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think I haven't really checked into it, but I think some of the football might be starting soon without crowds.
Yeah, exactly, and that's going to be weird too.
That's going to be really weird. I guess if you're watching it on TV, you can still have commentary, but then you're so used to hearing the crowd and the chanting and the singing, and I think it'll be weird for the players as well.
The players acting up sometimes, because the crowd are there.
Yeah,
what
definitely.
Are they going to, there's no one to see what they're doing.
No, it's good. Well, it's good that at least it's going to start back up, and they think it's safe to do, which is good. Because it gives all the people in lockdown something to watch as well, and it's a form of entertainment, and I guess for some people football is their lives, and as a football fan, I know a few guys who they travel to home and away games for their clubs they watch, and it is their life revolves around their football team, so it is like I've never been into it anywhere near as much as that. I enjoy watching it. I enjoy playing it. I'm not very good, but I really enjoy it. But it's never been a massive part of my life.
No, me neither. I mean, I like watching internationals and stuff.
Yeah.
But no, it's not a big thing for me. I might watch Match of the Day if there's nothing else on or something.
Yeah.
But what the hell? But no, it's never been a big thing. But I mean, the thing is, for instance, here we got Brighton and Hove Albion, and like 3 of their players have got it.
Really?
Apparently.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, I guess because if it gets into the club, they're not going to want to play games, are they? Because it might not be safe to risk it. Because I guess you can have it, can't you, without showing symptoms and things like that. So, I guess. Yeah,
again, you can see. I mean, I watch Formula One and I enjoyed sort of all the, the World Rugby and stuff.
Oh yeah.
None of that's happening either. So.
No, that's true. And there was the Olympics meant to be happening this year as well,
that's right. Yeah,
which is a big deal.
just a bit.
Well, and the Euros actually. Hang on, I was meant to be going to the Euros, so. I said earlier I don't really. It's not a big part of my life, but I did have tickets to go and watch Wales. I did have tickets to watch Wales in Azerbaijan, and in Rome. But we bought the tickets kind of just thinking, oh, hang on, we've got to be really quick because they sell out immediately. But then we were struggling to find a way to get to Azerbaijan. To be honest with you,
how did you get there?
There are very few direct flights from London, but they were very expensive. And obviously there is a few other ways. We're doing 2 or 3 flights. We were searching for weeks really to find a reasonable priced method of getting there, because we don't want to spend too much. We got to buy hotels and stuff when we're there as well. But to be honest, it got to the point where I was like, I don't think I'm going to go. But now it's not happening. It doesn't really matter. So, but I was up for Rome. We were meant to be. You've probably, have you done Grass Pop Festival before?
Yeah.
We were meant to be playing that, and then we were meant to be, a few of us in the band were meant to be flying.
I think we were playing that too.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, that's a shame. That would have been amazing. But we were meant to be, like playing the show and then flying from Belgium to Rome the next day, having a day in Rome, then the match, and then flying back to Wales. But that's all messed up now. But it is what it is. But yeah, football. Yeah, I like football, but it's not the biggest thing in my life. So obviously we're talking about the coronavirus, health. You look healthy now, and which is really good. You look really perky and really good. So obviously I know from a personal perspective, and I've read you've had a few issues during your career. I know it was a few years ago you suffered a brain aneurysm, unfortunately. That's right. It sounded really nasty. So do you mind talking a little bit about that? And
no, not at all.
If you don't mind, that'd be great
to
hear.
I mean, that was the end of 2014, and we just played in. We were on tour, and we just played in Glasgow.
Okay.
And then we were coming down we went to a hotel in Gateshead because we had a day off, and then the next show was in Newcastle, and it happened on the day off in Gateshead.
Wow. And
literally, I was just sitting like we are now, but I was just reading the newspaper on my laptop in the hotel room, and suddenly I sort of moved, sort of like that, and suddenly my neck just jammed, and I got the worst headache, like migraine you can imagine. It just suddenly went. My vision was like this.
Oh wow!
In front of right, it was like. It's like, it was like a really excessive. Sometimes, if you've had a hot bath, and I tend to stay in a bath for an hour.
Yeah.
Get out of it really quick. You feel a bit lightheaded.
Like a head rush, but
yeah, exactly.
Times 100.
So I got up, I let myself fall onto the bed, and thought, oh, this will, whoa, what's going on here? And the vision came back after about 20 minutes. Anyway, the end result was I got rushed into hospital in Gateshead. They did a scan, and I got rushed over the bridge into Newcastle REI, and I had 2 brain operations.
Wow.
And then, I was in hospital for a month.
For a whole month, wow.
Yeah, because it had burst, basically. The aneurysm burst, so I was bleeding in the brain. And the next time we played at Newcastle, I invited the surgeon up.
Oh, yeah, amazing. Wow.
Mr. Patrick Mitchell. So we had a few beers after the gig.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I bet that was a nice feeling, and to know it was over, and this, I guess that man saved your life to some degree.
That's exactly what I told him. I said, you saved my life. He actually turned around to me, and we had, I also invited, there was a male nurse who was a big Saxon fan, actually. So was looking after it. About every 2 or 3 hours, he was coming in and doing brain scans on my brain to make sure everything was, and then giving me injections and all sorts, and checking blood pressure. So I got him in the gig as well.
Oh, awesome.
And then we had a good talk, but Mr. Mitchell said, you're a freak. Because he said for a start, I wasn't sure whether you would survive.
Wow, he actually said that.
Yeah, and he said, if you did, I thought it was going to be at least 18 months to 2 years before you could even play the drums again. And I was back on tour within 3 months, I think.
Wow, 3 months?
And he just said 3 or 4 months max, yeah. Yeah, it was.
What?
So, yeah, he said, you're a freak. But actually, talking about this, we've done do you know the actress Emilia Clarke?
Yes.
from Game of Thrones.
Very well.
She's had about 3 or 4 in the past. Aneurysms.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I did not know
And she
that.
started the charity. So what Gina, my wife, and me have done, we've had some sort of T-shirts printed with my face on it from about 83, I think it is, 84, right, on the front. It was like from the Crusader tour or something. And Gina, you know, has got this candle company, and she's done doing some candles, the same thing. And all the proceeds from the sale of the candles, we've only done like 100 T-shirts. All the proceeds are going to Amelia Clark's charity for the brain aneurysm.
That's amazing.
So if anyone sort of wants to, they can go to evokecandleco.co.uk or whatever, and go on there and get them bought.
Perfect. Yeah.
Because it's all going to a good cause. You know?
Yes. So if you're listening, please help support by. We'll put the link in the description underneath, so make sure we get the right link.
This is for like brain aneurysms.
Yeah.
And stuff. But yeah, Amelia Clark started this thing, so we thought, well, yeah, that's a good thing.
That's a really good thing. I didn't even know that about it. That's wow. But obviously, your recovery was obviously freakish by the sound of it.
It was freakish. It was bizarre. I mean, I was in bed for a month.
Yeah.
I mean, over Christmas. Thank you very much.
Oh, was it?
And, it's amazing, actually, the muscle wastage. If you like that, because I mean, I went totally gaga for a while, but the muscle wastage is like, when I got home, I couldn't even get myself out of the bath.
Wow.
You know,
just felt weak.
I've been lying in the bed all the time.
Of course, yeah.
You know? So, but anyway, here we are.
so at what point did you think, I feel like I could try and play drums? How long did it take until you thought, I'll have a go?
Yeah, well, what happened was that, I mean, this was December. Was it November? I can't remember. And they'd actually rebooked, because it was near the end of the tour. I think there were 5 gigs left. So they actually moved those last 5 and they rebooked them for February, which I thought, well, that's being a bit optimistic, isn't it? I don't think I'm going to be ready by then. But luckily Sven, you know, Udo Dirkschneider's son, he was teching for me.
Oh, nice. Yes.
So he did those shows, right, the last 5.
Right, I didn't know
but
that.
I went up to London and he was using my kit anyway, so I went up to London and I said, well, I want to get up and play something in sound check just to see if I can.
Yeah.
Right. So I got up and we did 747 and I got up and did it at the gig.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. It was great, but I tell you, I couldn't have done any more. That was enough.
Yeah, because it's like you say, if you'd lost strength, to have the strength and stamina to play a whole show is not the same as just getting up and having a knock.
That was it, that one song, but it was good, you know.
Oh, awesome. Is there a record of that, or did anyone film that? Or I'd like to see that if possible. No, you don't know. Yeah, it'd be interesting. Yeah, that'd be cool to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, obviously you made a miraculous recovery, which is amazing to hear. And obviously, fingers crossed. You know, nothing bad like that will happen again. It sounds horrible. I can't even imagine how scary it would have been for your family as well, and the band.
Yeah, well, Gina, you know, I mean, she was the one that actually cottoned on to what was happening. So in a way, she was instrumental in my life saving, because I didn't know.
You didn't know what it was.
You couldn't move.
Yeah. Because I guess you need to react quick to get you to the hospital, and
I couldn't move, and you know, and she got hold of our tour manager, and he organised a bloody emergency ambulance to come to the hotel. Thank God for that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we might have been lying there for 3 hours too late.
It could have been too late. Yeah. Wow.
So. It was a lucky one, but you know, on the road, we get, you know, there's things. I mean, I've had pneumonia twice on the road. I've had my left leg cast.
Really?
Oh yeah, all sorts of stuff. But hey, it's just, you know.
Well, Yeah, I guess it's like stuff like illnesses. Obviously, if someone's ill on tour, if someone's got a virus or flu or something, it's so easy to spread on a tour
Oh God!
bus. It's
If you're on
horrible.
a tour bus, if someone's got it, if someone's got something on a tour bus, everyone's going to get it.
Yeah,
It's without fail.
it's a nightmare, isn't it? And
Yeah,
no matter what job you do, just even if it's just like a bad cold or something, it just makes the whole experience so unpleasant.
yeah,
Um, for like you're normally busy at least during the show. You need all your hands and your limbs, and
yeah.
you don't want to be sneezing over people and tissues,
No, I know. I
that's
know.
just mild, a mild cold or something. So
Yeah, even that, but it can, I mean, a mild cold can really bring you down strength-wise.
yeah, I agree with that, and especially vocalists, if people who sing, it
Yeah.
can affect them massively, and
Oh yeah.
a bit like
I mean, the other thing I had, because I used to do backing vocals, with a head mic.
oh yeah, cool.
So for a drummer, they're a bit of a nightmare because they're picking up the acoustic of the drums as well, and it's like, so as soon as that mic turns on, the drums go whoa, something. So
Yeah,
in the end, it's got. But I always used to have a problem with that, particularly with smoke machines.
I hate smoke
Because
machines.
I'd be playing, singing these like backing vocals, and the smoke seemed to be piling this stuff at me, and I'd lose my voice after the first gig, and it would or maybe the second gig, and it'd be gone for like 5 days. I couldn't sing again.
Nah, well, that's no good. Yeah,
But
I agree. I think sometimes if especially if you inhale a bit of the smoke,
oh
um,
yeah, because you're drumming up,
yeah, yeah, you're
and this
breathing.
stuff's straight
Yeah,
at you. Yeah,
it's not good.
I'd be like, yeah, couldn't say anything. But
But
hey ho.
I'm lucky I don't do vocals in any of the bands at the moment. I've tried in the past, but it I've never tried a headset mic. But like you said, it
Yeah,
would probably pick up, and
it
your
does.
your face is moving.
Yeah.
I've tried with the kind of the mic stand angled down, but it still used to get in my way, and I used to smash my teeth on the
Yeah.
mic shields.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't
with
have.
me, it was a case where we're going to put a boom mic. Sometimes it came over the top,
Oh yeah,
right? And then the tech would swing it out the way. But it'd have to be so because I've got drums all round me.
you have a lot of drums. Yeah,
So it's like I can't have a mic there because it gets in the way.
yeah.
So anyway.
It's just a pain, isn't it? It is a pain, and I sacked it off a long time ago, and sounds like you did as well. So probably for the best. Um, yeah, the other thing I noticed, I did a little bit of research. I said you had a period where you had to temporarily retire because you had neck injuries. Is
No,
is
what
that
I
true?
had, no, it wasn't a neck. What I did, I
Ah,
ripped a muscle between my neck and my shoulder.
ooh, that sounds terrible.
And yeah, but it was only a little nick because I think it just comes from, obviously when you've got your own kit and nice stuff's on a rack,
Yeah,
that kit can be set up within a millimeter, the same every night.
yeah,
And it was just a case I think it probably happened, I went to South America and a rental kit,
yeah.
just that little extra stretch, something went bing. And it was nothing. It was nothing. I didn't feel anything. And then we went to Sweden after we got back from there. And suddenly I was like, God, this is uncomfortable. I mean, I was okay when I was playing,
Yeah.
but when I was trying to lie down and sleep, it started really hurting. I thought,
Mm.
what the hell's going on here? And I was going to osteopath thinking I've done something to a vertebrae or something. And eventually went to my doctor and he grabbed these bits here.
All right. Yeah.
And after he pulled me out the ceiling,
Oh my
he said,
God,
yeah, you ripped a muscle.
that's
So
what it was.
I had to stop playing for a few months. And then during that period, I got into doing other stuff anyway.
Ah, cool.
So I had to have about 4 months off without playing. And in that period, I got into doing, what they call library music. So they use background music for documentaries and stuff like that. So I started writing all that stuff.
Oh
Which I
wow.
still,
Oh, you still do that? Okay.
yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so I got it, but I was still writing with Saxon.
Okay, so yeah,
I was
I
still
wasn't
writing.
sure. It was just something I found online, so I thought
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It was, yeah, it was a ripped muscle.
Wow.
But no, I was still writing with them, and like for instance, on when they did Killing Ground, I went up there and in the rehearsal rooms with them up near Boston, Lincolnshire, and
Okay.
co-wrote 4 or 5 songs with them there and everything, and
Oh,
so I
great.
was still there, involved.
Oh, cool.
I
Oh,
just
cool.
wasn't doing it.
Ah, right. Okay. No, the internet isn't always that accurate there.
No, it's not.
No, sorry. Apologies for that.
Don't worry.
Is it like I've had a few injuries myself? Have you had any other like injuries directly related to drumming apart from the one you just mentioned? Any other limbs or
Limbs.
limb? I don't know. I've
No,
had my knees, the shoulder. I've had a few issues, and I'm
no, I
only
mean,
thirty.
I had a sort of, I mean, as I say, I got the first bout of pneumonia I got this was in '82, I think it was, and we were playing with Cheap Trick
Oh wow,
in America.
cool.
And that was like going from all these extremes of temperatures, because at one minute you're in Florida for a while and it's really sweaty, and literally you come off stage and you're in a puddle. You're
Yeah,
sitting in the dressing room and it's a puddle under. Literally, it's dripping off you because it's so humid there.
yeah.
And then, but we started off sort of up north where there was snow
Huh.
on that tour, and it's just
It's
eventually,
crazy.
and I think it was all the AC. I just wasn't used to the AC. So you'd come out from this stinking hot gig, get onto a bus that was like being in a fridge. And
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
not
that,
good with that either myself. I know what you
well, I
mean.
had that. That was one year. So I got for a while. Actually, the first couple of gigs, I was like wheelchaired to a gig. Didn't miss a gig.
That's good. That's important. That's amazing.
Miss a gig. It was great actually. But Bunny Carlos was gonna, Cheap Trick's drummer was gonna do the first show. They were in
What?
the dressing room. They were in the dressing room trying to teach him the songs when I rolled in a wheelchair. So, and I went on stage, had an oxygen mask on me and everything.
Wow.
It was
Wow.
great, but that was all right. But the only other time, and then the following year, we played with Maiden
Oh, cool.
in America. We were special guests. There was
Wow.
Fastway, us, and Maiden.
Oh, wow.
And what happened there was a huge crowd off the, where was it? Long Beach Arena, I think it was. There was a huge, great coil of mains cable underneath a rug at the bottom of the steps when you come off stage. And of
Yeah.
course, it was a great show, and I jumped onto this, and my ankle went, whap.
Mm.
So I ended up with my left leg in left, the lower part of my leg in a cast for about 2 weeks, I think it was. And that's the only.
That's okay. You've done pretty for such a long career. That's pretty good. You've had some obviously terrible ones, but I mean, in terms of numbers, that's not so bad.
No, there's not a lot. I mean, the first pro band I was in, which was based down here in Brighton, was a band called Krakatoa. And we
Right.
used to play, that's where I first met Phil.
Oh, okay.
And we used to play quite a lot in Wales and stuff. But, that was my first pro band. And I just remember we were playing like universities and stuff like this, and we were traveling up and down the country. And I just remember we were on our way. I'd only done 3 gigs with them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 3 gigs with them. We were on our way up to Carlisle, I think it was. And we had a horrific road crash. We were in a van with all our gear, and an articulated lorry rammed us up the backside
Oh,
and tipped us. Basically, if you imagine you're going along like this and tipped us upside down, we ended up on our roof, still facing the same way.
wow.
So we completely spiraled.
That
All the
sounds.
gear, with everything. I mean, the police actually said how anyone got out of there alive was a miracle. This is a night we had no thing, just went bang, and then all I can remember was me doing this in this sort of black morass or whatever it is, and this sound of metal just crashing and everything behind me.
Oh
And
my
I came
God.
to, and I was probably about 50, 60, 70 yards down the road. I'd gone out either through the door or the windscreen,
What?
sitting in the front. And I turned around and the van was there, and it was just like, God, And we were being taken to a hospital in Carlisle, I think it was. I thought, if that's what you get being in a professional band. Sod it, I retire.
Yeah, exactly.
I give up. You know,
Oh.
I'm going to stay at home. But no, it was all right. You know, we got. You know,
You're lucky. You're very lucky there.
Pete, who was driving, one of our techs, he suffered the worst because he got, you know, the top of the cab was aluminium, and that as it turned upside down, you know, it whiplashed his back.
Oh right, yeah.
And then the battery acid got, because the thing was upside down, so all the acid from the battery got into his wounds in his back.
Ooh.
So he was the worst. He was the worst off. I mean, Roger, the guitarist, I think he broke his collarbone. Ilana, the singer, I think broke her arm. But I mean, apart from that, we were very lucky.
So you just had a few cuts and bruises.
I mean, they kept us in hospital overnight. Yeah. But yeah, it was generally that, and we were back on tour within 6 weeks. I think it was.
Wow.
But it's Bill, our sound guy. He went back the next morning to where it happened. He said, all my cymbal arms, all the old boom stands, he said they were all embedded in the embankment. He said it looked like the massive Troy. Spears everywhere.
I bet, yeah.
But I only had the drum kit for three or four gigs, big Tama kit, and the whole lot just. I was watching it go down underneath the wheels of other trucks and sparking. I was like, great. You know?
So completely destroyed then. It wasn't salvageable. Oh my God, nightmare. Well, at least you got out okay, and you know.
Yeah, exactly. We all got out. You know, we all.
But that's scary because you know that can happen to anyone at any time, and it's a scary thing. I touch wood. I have never really been involved in a car accident or vehicle accident, so
yeah,
it is scary when I think about something like that actually happening, but it's, apart from drive safely, you can do your side, but it's other drivers, isn't it, that you that's always the risk, is other drivers. Yeah,
but that's life, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I do that, you know, when apart from doing this lockdown, I'm not driving so much, but you know, I'm confident in my own abilities, but that's what I'm always afraid of, is other people. You mentioned briefly earlier that Saxon vocalist Biff, he was diagnosed, he had a heart condition.
Yeah.
I think it was last year. But he's got through that okay, he's had surgery.
Yeah.
So like, when I guess, did he tell you first? How scary was that at the time?
Oh yeah, of course it was scary, something like that, because, you know, you don't know. Obviously we were keeping in touch, either with him or we were texting or whatever, with, you know, finding out exactly what was going on.
Yeah.
You know, so it was a good job when he came out the other side.
Yeah. Seemed like a fairly quick turnaround as well.
Yeah, it was pretty quick. I mean, not so much gigging wise, because obviously things have to, you know, again, you know, they had to, when something's happened to your breastbone, you know, you've got to get that strength back in your diaphragm and everything.
Yeah.
But, you know, so, but you know, he's been sort of gradually building up, so he's singing again now and everything. So good.
Excellent. So I'm glad he's okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
Right, we've been talking about negative things for a while now, so let's talk about something positive. You've already talked about some of your history. What would you say were the highest points of your career? And what are your best memories?
Oh God!
I know there's a lot of things you could talk about, but
and for instance, I mean, you know, it's great, you know, playing Wacken, 75,000 people.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah, that must be amazing.
That's a big buzz, you know.
Yeah.
When you're headlining one of the stages, that's a big buzz.
That's a huge buzz, yeah.
I'm trying to think. Other things have been. I mean, the main thing is, I guess, you know, meeting a lot of the fans all over the world and everything. And the main thing is sort of going to countries I never really envisaged going to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, for instance, you know, I never really thought about going anywhere in South America, but suddenly, you know, we played Brazil and Argentina and Chile and stuff. And
Nice.
it's great. I've seen a lot of the world that I wouldn't have, and Australia we've been to,
Oh, that's cool.
Japan.
Nice.
You know, I've seen a lot of countries that I would never have envisaged going to.
Yeah.
Basically. And you know, I've made some good friends in some of these countries too. So that's another nice thing about going on tour, because then you get to see these people again. You know,
Yeah.
catch.
Sometimes it's years apart, I guess. But
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing almost with, you know, if you know people in other bands, a lot of the time you might not see each other for a year or a couple of years because you're touring, they're touring, or one's recording or whatever, and then you might be on the same festival together. So that's great. You know, that's a good time.
Yeah, and like especially if you get to watch them perform, if you can somehow slot their set into your daily schedule, that's amazing as well, isn't it? And or grab a pint with them. It's a bonus.
It's like the other thing. I go to the Namm Show every year.
Oh, you go out. Oh, cool.
Yeah, I go out there to Anaheim every year, and it's great because I see people there. I only see there.
Yeah, only there. Yeah.
And stuff, you know, which is great. So it's all right. Oh, I try doing this. You know, we have a good catch up. Brilliant.
Yeah. Well, that's really good. Vac and headlining. I can imagine that's absolutely crazy.
A lot of those festivals are great. Grasspop, you know, and they're all Sweden Rock. They're all, you know, the vibe you get from, you know, from the crowds is just unbelievable at times. You know.
Yeah. Even behind the drum kit, where you're, I guess, further away, you can still feel it, can't you?
Oh yeah, definitely, without a doubt.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. You mentioned Krakatoa then, so that was your first professional band.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Are there any other musical projects you've been involved in apart from Saxon?
Oh yeah, quite. You know, because I was with Toyah.
Yeah.
For a while.
Yeah.
For a year with Toyah. I've worked with Asia.
Yeah, I read about that as well.
In GTR.
Nice.
I was GTR for about 9 months before that all fell apart.
Is there a story there, or?
No, not really. It was just very. I think there were a lot of politics going on. It was a bit out of our sort of control. I think because only Steve Howe was the one signed to the record company. I mean, Steve Hackett had gone by then. So we had an American guy who was the second guitarist, stroke songwriter, and everything. But it was I think whatever went on, it was that to do with Steve, Steve and the record company.
Okay.
It was a shame because that was their first album, I think, went gold in the US, and I think this one was shaping up to be even better.
Wow.
And it never got finished.
That's such a shame.
It is a shame. It is a great shame. I mean, I'm still in touch with Phil, the bass player, who was with me in Toyah.
Okay, right.
Jeff Downs, I became good friends with. Hence, I did some tracks on an Asia album.
Right, yeah, that makes sense.
Solo stuff with Steve Howe after the GTR thing.
Right.
Apart, I did an album with Bernie Tormé.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So other stuff, and apart from that, now I'm just doing, this library music stuff as well.
Yeah, so that's one thing I really didn't know about.
And Doug and I, Doug, our guitarist, we did an album 14, 15 years ago, something like that. And it was just something we wanted to do. It's just all instrumental and
nice.
The sort of stuff we like. So we're sort of talking about getting a second one going now.
Cool. This might be a good time to do it if you're not touring.
Yeah, we're trying to start getting some ideas together.
Yeah.
And we might sort of get some guest vocalists to come in on the odd song on this one, but it was basically, I mean, material-wise, it was a complete sort of mishmash of stuff. It all wasn't down one vein.
I think that makes for a more interesting listen when there's a lot more variety on an album.
Yeah, I mean, there was stuff on there that was like quite sort of proggy, and then there was other tracks that were a bit sort of say like Joe Satriani or something, and then a couple of tracks which were sort of totally ambient.
Ah,
you know,
nice.
just keyboards, no drums on, just keyboards and guitar. So.
'Cause do you play keyboards, right? I read that you play keyboards, and do you play a bit of bass guitar?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else?
No.
No, just no. That's all right. That's still pretty. That's still pretty impressive.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm no Rick Wakeman, but I can get my ideas across.
Yeah, cool. No, that's I there's one thing I can't really play is keyboards or piano. I can play bass guitar fairly well.
Yeah.
Lead guitar, I never really. I always had other people in the family who were good at lead guitar, so I kind of never really concentrated on it. Because we always used to like jam together, my brothers and my dad, and I guess it was clear from an early age that I was a bit more natural on the drums. So I guess that's how it happened. But a little bit later on in life, when I was a teenager, I did pick up the bass, and I got into kind of a lot of the like jazz fusion stuff, and I learned. I'm not so good on it anymore because I've kind of neglected. Yeah, kind of some of the Jaco Pastorius, and I learned some of that stuff. I had a great teacher from Cardiff called John Caulfield. Right. So I really concentrated on that for a few years. And then I just never played in a band, and I started touring on drums and playing drums in bands and playing drums in bands, and I kind of just didn't pick it up for years then, and I haven't lost it completely, but like my speed and my finger strength would definitely be pretty dark. Like, I'm nowhere near like I would have been back then, but I know my way around, and I've got a little bit of technique. But
no, I mean I'm sort of keyboard wise. Someone says to me playing A minor, no idea.
Oh right, okay, yeah. I wouldn't have a clue on a keyboard.
Really nice sound. If something I like the sound of that chord. That sounds nice.
Okay.
What's that? Or I like that chord. Or I wonder if this bass note will go underneath this. So I just experiment all the time.
Oh well, that's good. I think a lot of keys players, like I guess there's casual keys players. I don't know if that's the right phrase, but yeah, where you can experiment. I know another guy. He does film music and similar to maybe what you do as well. And you watch a video of him playing piano. I'm like, bloody hell, you're amazing on piano. But he can't read music. He doesn't necessarily know what he's playing. Yeah. From a kind of theory perspective, but he's just kind of worked it out using his ears and his brain, I guess.
I mean, I can't. I'm not a pianist. I'm more sort of synthesizer, really.
Okay, that's cool.
I'm a big sort of Vangelis fan, all that sort of, I love all that ambient sort of space music, I suppose you'd call it. Yeah, it is, but I can't sort of play piano and like go rootling off like this. No, I'm sort of, what does that go? I wonder if that, Yeah. And when I'm writing, I use a lot of like, from a percussion or drum point of view, I use a lot of loops and stuff.
Okay.
And play around with those,
Nice.
Like invert them and change the mapping so something else is playing something that it wasn't before.
Nice.
I just get off on sounds.
Yeah, that's really good to hear.
But I'm nowhere near. I couldn't go on stage and play keyboard. I didn't have a clue.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
Hold on. Where's the note they're playing? Oh yeah, that's there. I forget it.
It's pretty scary, and it's definitely not. Yeah, the idea of that would be scary.
I mean, there's a YouTube thing of Rick Wakeman from about 10 years, 15 years ago, maybe a bit more, with Yes. And he does this solo, and it's just, my God, it is so fast. It's just ridiculous.
I don't know how you get to that level. It's crazy.
He takes his hand like this before he starts. And he just suddenly goes into it, and it's a blur.
Wow.
But he's a keyboard. He is a keyboard player. He's classically trained, and boom,
Yeah.
Brilliant. I mean, both him and Tony Banks, Genesis, brilliant, both of them.
Amazing. Yeah, it's kind of. I did when I was younger. I did have a few Yes albums, and I went through a little prog kind of phase, I guess. But there's a lot of stuff I've still never really been exposed to, I suppose. So I do need to
Yeah,
kind of go
yeah,
back, and because I did enjoy it. I was really into the kind of prog stuff. Um,
yeah,
I still like experimenting with different time signatures and things like that. Even
yeah,
even if the music isn't technically prog, if we stick a little bar in, that's a seven or a three or something. I don't know, I kind of enjoy that, and I've always done that.
yeah.
Um, but like prog rock or prog metal, I don't know how many versions of the genre there
Oh,
are. It's endless, but
I
yeah,
know.
there's
I
a
mean,
lot
the
of
other, like you mentioned, then I got, I got really into, the fusion stuff, the Billy Cobham and stuff.
nice. Yeah,
As soon as the Billy Cobham album came out, I had it,
I bet.
so.
I bet. Yeah,
And it's funny because I've sort of gone back and I'm starting to listen to stuff like that Mahavishnu Orchestra and stuff. So I'm listening to all that stuff again now.
nice. Yeah, I had the Mahavishnu Orchestra. I think I did a because I went to university. I did a popular music degree, and I'm pretty sure I did some form of massive essay about rock fusion and something like that. I can't really
Yeah.
remember the details, but yeah, I got into a few of those bands back then. And
I
yeah,
mean, that,
the Weather
you know,
Report I always liked,
oh, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
but that's
But,
different again,
yeah,
less
yeah,
rocky.
yeah. But, yeah, I had a few Weather Report, a few of the early Weather Report albums.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's good stuff.
but, yeah, it was great. And I mean, that's the way I've sort of, I suppose, my drumming's been more influenced by those sort of people than it is by a lot of heavy rock drummers, I guess.
Yeah, I think you can tell that. Um, 'Cause
For instance, I was more Bill Ward
yes,
than John Bonham.
yeah, I can tell that
I
from
love Bill
listening. Yeah,
Ward. I love it.
he's I I'd love to be able to get to interview him one day. I don't know if that's possible. Like, he might be a hard guy to get, but
I actually met him at Namm a
really,
couple of years ago, yeah. Yeah, it was great. We had a right laugh.
yeah,
Uh,
cool.
but no, he was great because Sabbath was the second proper gig I ever went to.
Oh wow,
And it was like, God Almighty, I'd never seen anyone hit the drum so hard in my life. I thought his rack tom was going to come off.
yeah.
It was just banging.
What
And
kind of what year? Do you know roughly what year that would have been? Or
that would have been on the Masters of Reality tour.
ah,
So I guess, I don't know, 72, 73.
okay, yes. So they would have
Yeah.
been at it for a few years up until then. I bet they were amazing. Yeah,
The third album. It's their
yeah,
third album. And it was great. And then for me, Black Sabbath was Bill Ward and Tony Iommi.
yeah.
That was it. It was. So I was a little bit sort of peeved when he didn't do that Reformation tour, but
I
we
know.
don't know. We don't know what goes on behind the scenes, so who knows what the reason was.
I
But I
know
think it was,
they both have different stories and
yeah, I know. Yeah, I
so
think it was the same. So
I was gutted as well because well, from what it sounded like, Bill was confident he could do it. Um,
yeah,
whether they thought he wasn't, I don't know. But I would have loved to have seen that, and that was
yeah,
around the time when I really kind of like. I was born in '86, so a lot of this music happened before I was born. Um,
yeah,
so I've kind of had to kind of go back and rediscover all these little periods, and I had a massive Sabbath period,
yeah,
like the first four Sabbath albums, and then it was Bill Ward's drumming that kind of just wowed me really because it was that
yeah. Me too.
it was kind of like a jazz influenced
Yeah,
player playing all this rock stuff, and it was just this because I hadn't really been exposed to a lot of that because I grew up, it was grunge and all this stuff like that. There wasn't many jazz influenced drummers really, or they weren't obviously jazzy drummers. I kind of grew up listening to all that, and it was rock and like punk rock and stuff like that. And then I kind
yeah,
of yeah, it was the original Sabbath album, and it blew me away. It still does when I put it on. When I put it on today, it's just the swing and the feel and the groove of it all,
yeah.
and the space as well. And I love it. But it really did. It, it really did. I think that did alter my own drumming a little bit. I don't say I was trying to practice. I didn't try to copy it, but just the way I thought about it.
Yeah, I mean, it does. Whether you do get influenced by all this stuff subconsciously.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and I think that's what's great about drumming.
I remember going down and listening when the first album came out, and down in Brighton there was it was like a bookstore, but it had underneath downstairs it had like the record department.
Oh yeah.
It had listening booths in there, and they actually had a stereo room.
A stereo room.
Asked to go in there, and you sat in a couple of armchairs.
What?
And listen in this big room, and it was like, and then I went down and said, "Oh, you've got the Black Sabbath album." And they said, "Yeah," and they put it on, and my God, I've never heard anything so heavy or doomy in my life as that first track. I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, I can only imagine what it would have been like at the time to experience it, because obviously I'd listened to it after hearing everything that came out 30 years after it as well, so it wouldn't have had that same effect. But I try and imagine like none of this existed until this record came out, and I'm kind of jealous. I'm kind of envious that you would have had that experience, because I'll never be able to have the same experience you did, because.
And it was. I'm trying to think. I mean, other things like that around. It was like I was really sort of into Iggy Pop, the Stooges.
Oh yeah.
The band that he was in then. I mean, that second Stooges album, when I listened to that in a booth with headphones on, because I thought someone I think it was in Melody Maker or something, gave him a crappy write-up, and what usually happened, if someone gave a crappy write-up, I'd probably like it.
Oh right, yeah.
I'm going to hear why this is so bad, or what's it all, because I'd heard his reputation about, and I think that album came out in 1970, I think it was. And
oh wow.
I put it on in the booth, and God, it just rips your head off. The first track is just whoa. Thank you. But
I've not heard that actually, so I've never really checked any of that stuff out. So I think I'll have to.
First track, Down on the Street, I think it's called.
Okay.
Just crank it right up, Nick.
I will, yeah. I'll get my hands on that. Yeah, because that sounds like that was an important band as well. But yeah, again, it's just one I haven't really delved into yet. So I've got all the modern stuff to keep up with, and then I've got all this history of music to go back to, which is amazing. It's amazing that it's there, and but there's so much of it. So I try my best. I try my best.
Another one was, I mean, the next gig I saw was Uriah Heep.
Oh, cool.
Right, because I was a big Heep fan as well. I mean, again, I went to the record store, and their first album had come out, and I was like, whoa, what's this? It was great. And they had all these high vocals, high harmonies and everything. It was
nice.
Brilliant.
So was the kind of high vocal harmonies, were they one of the first bands that kind of, like rock bands that did that then? I don't really know, because...
Yeah, they were pretty, I mean, particularly, the first track on the second album, Bird of Prey, I mean, it's almost operatic in places.
Right.
They've got these good harmonies that are going up. It's brilliant. And I loved it. So that was something else. I mean, there were so many bands around at that time that I was just like, well, I haven't heard this before. Jethro Tull.
Yeah.
Bands I was getting into. Genesis, early Genesis. Even, now they're sort of regarded as an MOR act, but in the day they were like regarded as prog. Moody Blues.
Yeah.
Their album was stunning. In fact, In Search of the Lost Chord was the first serious album I ever bought.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was the first stereo album I bought. So, whoa, things are doing this,
I bet that was... Because it's very rare nowadays that I'm listening on headphones. Maybe when I go out running and I notice things that maybe I don't notice them on other forms. Because nowadays I'm just beaming music to my little Bluetooth player that is obviously just one speaker, so I'm not really experiencing the stereo
Yeah, no,
mix
when
of
you
it all.
onto the stereo and it was like going whoa, whoa, the mellotron's going whoa,
Yeah, that's
whoa. That way it was like whoa, you know, and then there'd be some sitar would be coming in like where we
crazy.
go.
That's amazing.
And they played everything on those albums themselves,
That's
cello, everything.
that's so impressive.
Yeah,
That's what I like when it's advertised as a band, and then you see all these additional musicians and maybe come in just for the recording. Yeah, I prefer, it's great, obviously, but if I know the band has played everything themselves or the artist, that's even more special
yeah.
then.
No, I mean they
It's
were
more
regarded.
impressive.
Everything on that they played sitar,
Wow.
you know, cellos, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
really,
I'll check that out because again, I have never really gone into that area
yeah, well
so
before
much. I
your
need to. I definitely will after this.
the first 7 albums definitely. Yeah.
7. Okay, it'll take a while, but I'll
Yeah.
check them out. Yeah.
So our children's children, on the threshold of a dream, question of balance. Every good boy deserves a favourite. There was a line of them, you know.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I was dying for the next one to come out.
I'll keep
And
that
then,
in mind.
of course, you had the first King Crimson album came out, and that was another game changer.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of
Right.
people mention that. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a total game changer
What
for me.
was
Yeah,
that? 70s as well?
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
yeah. First album I think was 70.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's so mad thinking about what happened
Yeah,
before I was born.
no, it was like at school, you know, a guy, because I went to boarding school for 4 terms, and a prefect in the house I was in, because I went to Brighton College.
Okay.
Guy in the prefect there, he had a brilliant stereo system, you know, like everyone was like, whoa, what's this?
Yeah. Yeah.
We all had these little things that just, whatever. And he had the first King Crimson album. It was like, God almighty, this just sounds brilliant. I mean, it was the album and the sound coming out this stereo.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, you know, real hi-fi,
Wow.
stunning.
Yeah, I think I heard that back in the day, but I think I need to go and revisit that one as well.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's cool to hear all these kind of game changing bands and albums that like you would have experienced at the time as they came out, which is quite fascinating for
Yeah, it
someone
is. I
kind of
mean,
my age or younger who maybe know about
yeah,
these bands but don't really realize the impact they had at the time.
yeah. I mean, you know, Cream,
Yeah,
obviously.
well, I've done Cream. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
I love Cream. I mean, Israeli Gears is still my favourite album cover. I love it. The second album, the second one with all the pink and
Oh
blue,
yeah. No,
great stuff. That's
that,
still my favourite album cover.
did you ever watch them live in the heyday? Cream?
No, unfortunately,
No, no, that would have been cool.
no.
That would have been good.
Yeah,
Um,
tell me about it.
yeah. Well, I've got a little note here. I don't know any information, but I've heard that you had some project involving Hans Zimmer. Is that gobbledygook or is that something?
Hans Zimmer was the keyboard player in Krakatoa.
Right. That's what it was then.
Yeah,
Ah, that's
yeah,
amazing. Because he's
yeah.
obviously super successful now.
He wasn't there to start with. Originally, it was a completely different band. Well, apart from Roger, who I do a lot of this library music with, the guitarist,
Right.
um, and then Dave Popson was the bass player, who ended up being one of the first managers of Saxon,
Ah,
and that's how I got into Saxon.
that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
How did you get? That's literally what I had written down.
So I
So
think he
that's
put, and Paul, you know, with the Toya thing, we've done. Paul had listened to a lot of the Toya stuff that I'd played on,
yeah.
and so, and they just, Dave rang me up one day and said, you know, what are you doing? And the next thing I knew, there I was in Saxon. You
That's
know.
amazing. So you didn't have to audition or anything like that?
Yeah, I
Or,
went up and had a blow. Yeah, of course. I
yeah.
mean, they were. I think it was, when was it? It was on Sunday. The Sunday, he rang me up and said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "You know what I'm doing? I'm in Toya." Because I mean, we were like doing 2 or 3 sellout nights at Hammersmith and stuff. So we were.
Oh right,
You know,
wow! I didn't know.
yeah.
I didn't really know. Wow.
Yeah, we did two sellouts at Hammersmith. I think. Yeah, it was big.
Wow.
And he said, "What are you doing now?" I said, "Well, actually, I'm just at my mum and dad's having Sunday dinner." And he said, "Oh, right. Well, Saxon are starting their big tour, Denim and Leather tour, on Wednesday.
Right.
This was Sunday.
Right.
Starting on Wednesday. And they've got a drummer. Pete Gill hurt his hand. And I said, well, you know, try other people first, and then if you get stuck, I'll come up, whatever." Wow. And I know exactly what he did. He just sat by his telephone for an hour and then rang me back.
You wanted you.
So he said, "Can you come up to London?" And I went, "Yeah, okay." So I drove up to London, met him, and then we drove up to, where the hell was it? Somewhere in Hertfordshire, I think it was just north of London, to an old disused cinema where they were rehearsing and or routining for this tour.
Yeah.
And I always remember, because I sort of turned up, I was wearing, like, I don't know, sort of like new wavy type clothes, and obviously Biff looked at me as if I was like, "What's this?" And I, in my brain, I thought, "I'll show you, pal." You know, that immediately got my back up. They had a couple of other guys there. Just played through a couple of songs, and then, you know, the initial plan was, because I was doing a lot of sessions at the time anyway,
right,
and I could pick stuff up pretty quick, because the first gig was on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's amazing. And did you know much of their material? Like, did you listen to Saxon a lot?
I had bloody tickets to go and see.
Oh, right. So you were a fan,
which was here in Brighton.
That's amazing.
And so I learnt the stuff, and the plan was, one of the other guys that had been classed in as well. The idea was, because I said I can't stay, you know, because I was planning to go back in the studio with Toyah.
Yeah, of course.
And I said, I can't, you know, I can do like maybe a week or whatever it was. And they said, right, well, we'll have this other guy sit behind you, and it gives him more time to learn the stuff. And when you go, he can take over. So I thought, okay. So we went down to Brighton, and then, because they managed to get the Brighton Centre for a couple of extra days before their gig.
Right.
So we had this Pete Gill kit, which was on wheels, this high percussion, whatever thing was. It was all joined together.
All right.
So I would be upstairs in the dressing room rehearsing with, say, I don't know, Dobby and Paul or something, because going through the stuff, and I had to learn the live endings, you know, because lots of them were fade outs.
Yes, that's the thing I kind of stress about if I've got to learn a song.
Yeah.
And like the end, you know, the live ending is different than the recording. It's just like, oh.
And then, so we were doing, I was learning about 3 or 4 songs, and then the crew would take the drum kit down, put it on the stage, and then we'd run through it on the stage, get right, yeah, that's okay, take it back upstairs.
Oh,
luckily there were lifts, you know, to take it back. So, and then do it like that. So I had to learn, I was making notes as well, not musical notes as such, but just little notes like sort of left-hand guitarist starts song, you count in 1, 2, 3, simple crash, bash, and all this.
Yeah.
So I had a book of sort of things at the side that I had to, you know, so I was like reading, sort of reminding myself of the arrangements and stuff.
So like a prompt. I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I had to do this recently. I stood in for one gig for a local band. The drummer was double booked, and he asked me, "Would you?" No, I think I volunteered, because at the time I was quiet, and I thought I got to put myself out there a little bit more, play some more stuff. It was, you know, only a little gig, and it was all original material, and it was, you know, half an hour set. I can do that, no problem. But yeah, that's exactly what I did. Make a little kind of, I had like a little page for each song with the structure and like how many bars this verse was, and, you know,
exactly, yeah.
And it really helped on the gig. On the gig, it really helped. And I think if I hadn't done that, I probably would have messed up a couple of times, or, you know. But it really helped. So it's worth making the time to do that.
Yes, I did that. I think I screwed up one little bit, but I don't think anyone in the audience noticed.
Nah,
but it was. I mean, that's how we did it. And the plan. So this guy was behind me, this first gig in Brighton. After that, he never came back.
What?
So I thought, where's he gone? Oh, and Dave had sent him away, because I think it was always Dave's plan to get me in the band, I think, after they got rid of Pete Gill.
Yeah.
So then they asked me to join after about a week. They asked me to join, would I be interested in joining permanently? So in the end, I went, yeah, what the hell.
Is it? Wow.
It was nice to be in a band with all equal people, rather than, you know, all the emphasis was on Toyah in our band.
Okay. So
we did all the interviews, everything, and we were just, although we wrote all the material.
Oh, right.
We were just regarded, she wrote lyrics, obviously, but I mean, we wrote all the music. We were just regarded as a bunch of faceless session players, which was a bit by some of the press, not by all. But I mean, the album that I was on with her was like massive. You know?
Wow.
But again, as I say, it was just nice being with a bunch of equals, you know.
Yeah, so you were an equal part of the band.
Yeah.
When it came to everything, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I can understand that.
And then the next thing, Biff threw my book away. He said,
Did
well,
he?
you're not having that anymore. Yeah. It disappeared. I was like, oh!
That's mad. Oh, well, it's amazing to know you were a fan beforehand. I think that must be such a special thing.
I had David sent me down Wheels of Steel. I think Dave Cochran sent me Wheels of Steel down. I think I bought Strong Arm. And I think I bought Denim as well. So, yeah.
Nice.
No.
That's
So I knew
cool.
some of the songs, you know, roughly.
Yeah, like as in you knew, you'd heard them. That gives you the start over learning some songs you've never listened to in your entire life. Yeah, because that's what's hard when you've got to learn something from scratch.
Oh, yeah.
You're just constantly listening to them until they get drilled in somehow. But
Exactly.
that's such a cool story, though, because I wasn't really sure on how it all happened. So everyone's got this story. Let's move on then. You've obviously played with so many different bands over the years, whether it's like tour support or they supported you or festivals. Who have been your favourite bands to play with?
Oh, geez, there's so many. I mean,
I'm sure there are, yeah.
Without bloody, buttering you, I enjoyed it when when you guys played with us for a start. I thought that was great.
I loved that. It was amazing. Yeah, that was
good time.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, no, seriously, that was good. I mean, we loved playing with, Priest when we did the American run with Priest.
Yeah, I bet that was amazing.
That's great. They're all really nice guys. We get on with them excellently.
Yeah.
Motorhead, we used to get on great.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's more a case of who have been sort of pain in the backsides, really. But I'm not going to mention anyone. So
yeah, that's what I was going to ask, but I knew I've written, like, you don't have to answer. But I know I've heard people ask similar questions on other podcasts, but you don't have to. Obviously, I wouldn't expect you to diss anyone, but.
I mean, I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed the Maiden tour when we went out with Maiden Stokes.
Yeah, I bet that was incredible.
Yeah, it was. It was good. Cheap Trick were great with us. All of it. Triumph. Later on, they were Y&T. Great.
Nice. All pretty good. Then you've had some good experiences then with some other bands.
And I was say, and it was like on our last tour here, we had FM.
Yeah.
Great band, love them. And it was funny. I'll tell you a story about that. Like, there was during the sort of mid '80s, Pete Jutt, the drummer,
right,
from FM. Him and me were both with Premier.
Okay.
And it was funny. Premier used to bring out this. I think it was like a sort of quarterly, like a newspaper thing or something that used to go in the music shops for free.
Yeah.
And it was always me, Pete, I think Mel Gaynor, maybe Charlie Morgan, who was with Elton John for a long time.
All right, cool.
And it was hilarious, and we were always in it every bloody time. And until that tour last year, we'd never met.
Really?
Never met each other. It was like hilarious.
Yeah. Wow. Is he still with Premier? Do you know? Or?
Yeah, he's got a Prem kit at the moment.
Yeah. Cool.
Premier are operating as such.
Oh yeah. They're not. Yeah, I suppose. But
I think he's got a vintage Prem kit he uses. But cool. Great player. Yeah, and what a nice bunch of guys they are too.
I'll have to look. I don't think we've ever crossed paths, so.
No, they're great.
I'll say hello.
Great songs, really nice guys.
That's cool. Let's go back again then. What we haven't mentioned this yet. What made you first pick up the drums? Like, how did you start playing?
It was just, I've got an older brother, and he was kind of sort of introducing me to music, so to speak, because he was playing,
Yeah.
I started playing drums when I was 7 or 8.
7 or 8, okay. Similar to me, I think.
And it's just like a friend of my father's always noticed that I was tapping away whenever a record was on.
Yeah.
Or something. I was always or something on television or whatever, one of these Saturday night variety shows or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know, and he just persuaded my dad to buy me a snare drum, the little cymbal.
Awesome.
And it went from there, I guess. And
that's great.
It was after that, and then I got a bass drum and one rack tom and a hi-hat, and it sort of went from there. And I had a few lessons initially with a teacher at school, but the first guy, it was so, God almighty, it was like one of those like 1920s bass drums. It was massive, this thing, it was like, trying to teach me all this sort of, I don't know, like, 1, 2, 3, all this stuff. And then he left, and another guy took over who was actually, he was a drummer in the pits at the London Palladium.
Oh, whoa.
Big London Palladium.
Cool.
There. So I always remember going up to the London Palladium, and there he was, and I was only about, about 8 years old, and sort of waving at him when he went back. But those were the only sort of lessons I had, really. And then after that, I kept finding myself listening more and more to the bass on albums.
Cool.
So it was after that I sort of, I can't remember what I had to sell. I think it was something to do with a train set or something. I got a bass guitar or something. Got a bass guitar, so I was playing bass, and then we got with some friends at school, so we would have been like, I don't know, 13, 14, something like that, 15. We started a little band, and we were just playing along to stuff like Procol Harum and all this stuff.
Oh yeah.
And all that. We were, and then eventually I had to go on a proper drum kit, so I went back to that. So the rest of the train set went, and the bass guitar went, and I bought an Olympic drum kit.
Oh, nice.
And that was it. And then we started doing, playing a few youth clubs. We were doing like Cream and Free, Jethro Tull stuff, just
awesome.
Covers. Probably sounded bloody awful, but who knows?
I'm sure it was great. So when you were, so what kind of age were you when you were playing the gigs? When you started playing gigs?
Started playing gigs probably about 15.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Something like that. 15, 16, I think it was.
So at that time, what drummers were your main influences? Kind of ones you mentioned, I guess, in the bands.
Yeah, but actually, it's funny. Obviously, at the early age, it was people like the Bloody Shadows.
Yeah.
It's like Tony Meehan, and then Brian Bennett came in. Brian Bennett was an amazing drummer. I thought just amazing. And a thing that was really great was a few years ago, I went to the London Drum Show.
Cool. Yeah.
And I was just there, and I was talking to oh God, who the hell was it? I can't remember who it was now. And in walked Brian Bennett.
Really?
He walked in, and also another guy, another drummer called Clem Catini, who was around the same age as Brian.
Right. Yeah.
And he used to play on all, like he was the big session man in the 60s, one of the big session. He walked in, so I got my picture taken with both of them, and it was
nice.
yes, you know, that was great. That made my day, that did, you know.
I bet that was, yeah. That was amazing. So
legends for me, you know. But I guess them, and then later on, you know, we had the Who and all that sort of,
yeah, of course.
those sort of players, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't, and then to say, then Sabbath came later on. Sabbath
that was later on.
But in the early days, it was like, yeah, I guess, you know, and I was just listening. I didn't have a particular favourite, I don't think. No. You know, listening to them all.
Yeah.
You know,
you take things from
everyone's
playing, really.
I mean, I loved Mitch Mitchell.
Yeah. I love, yeah. When I did my period, I got into Mitch Mitchell and blew my mind.
I mean, at the time, I always preferred his drum sound. I loved his crisp snare sound.
Yeah.
And at the time, I thought I'd love to hear him play with Cream.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
You know, because it was I just loved his crisp. I'm trying to think who his favourite drummer used to be. It was a black guy. I can't remember what his name was, but yeah, I mean, so it's just people like that, really.
Yeah, cool. That makes sense. That definitely makes sense. You mentioned you go to the Namm Show.
Yeah.
So you've probably, over the years, you've probably played various different brands and drum gear. Like you said, your first kit was a Olympus kit.
My very first kit, I mean, when I was 7.
Oh, right, yeah. What was that?
A complete mishmash. The bass drum was a Gigster.
Right.
It was funny, actually. I'm trying to think. Some vintage drum site actually let me know what all these things were originally.
Ah, that's cool.
The Rack Tom was president. Now, I don't know who made that. The snare drum, I don't know. It was like a real thin, like a piccolo.
Okay.
Full size, but a real thin piccolo. So I can't. I mean, but this vintage site went on and said, "Oh yeah, Gigsters. They were made by blah 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 blah. Oh, and the President Tom. Yeah, that's right. That was made by so." And I was like, "Really? Oh, that's brilliant." You know. So some of these people are well up on this stuff.
Oh yeah.
The weird thing about that, the one about the Tom. The interesting one about the Tom was, I don't know. I can't remember if it was an English or American Tom, but at the time, it wouldn't take a regular 12-inch head.
Oh, so it's pre-international, do they call it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes, you know more than I do. So
I know a little bit, but
bloody heads for it. It was like, oh God. You know?
Yeah, they still make them now for like the vintage drums, I believe.
Yeah.
But it's not easy to find, but you can get them.
Yeah. So then after that was Orange Glitter.
Oh, nice.
Right. Orange Glitter, and then it was the Olympic, which was like Red Glitter.
Cool.
And that was a 20-inch kick drum, 16-inch floor, and 2 12-inch rack toms.
Okay, 2 12-inches.
I'm trying to think. Oh, and I had an Olympic snare as well.
Okay.
Which was Red Glitter as well. And then I went on to. Then there was this company, Rose Morris, who used to have a big shop in London.
Right.
And they bought out this make of drums called Shaftesbury. So
Okay.
I bought them out. And then I went on to like 2 22-inch bass drums, 2 13x9s, and 2 16 floors.
Nice.
So that was all right. I wish I had all these now. I'll tell you.
Yeah, it's a shame.
And then while I had that, then what happened after that? I can't remember what. I think it was a Shaftesbury snare I had with that, actually a wood snare. And then after that, then you had Pearl and Tama came out then, and they did all the little toms.
Oh yeah.
6, 8, 10, 12, the concert toms, and I wanted that. I wanted that because I was listening to at the time, one of my favourite bands was this Italian band called PFM. And their drummer had this complete range of all these little toms going right round. And I thought, I've got to have that. And these were the only two companies that did them.
Wow.
So I sort of used to go to a music store in Worthing, just along the road, and I'd A-U-B, you know, Pearl Tama. And I ended up with a Tama kit.
Right, okay.
22-inch kit, and then it was like 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
So and that was the one that got trashed in the Krakatoa thing.
Such a shame.
So then, I know, that got totally trashed. But then we got insurance off the truck driver's company or whatever. So then I bought another time, but this time I went to double bass drum.
Nice, nice.
And that was basically the same. It was another, you know, concert tom kit. And then I sort of, then I bought another Tama kit. I got rid of that one. I got with double heads because I really got into Neil Peart then.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So the concert toms were single-headed and everything else was double-headed again. And I had, I had another pearl snare, and I had a lovely brass Gretsch.
Oh, nice.
And then after that, with the Toya thing, I was really into Terry Bozzio's playing at the time. Well, I saw him with Missing Persons.
Oh, cool.
I saw what he was using. So I had like one 22-inch kick drum and 8 rotor toms.
That's crazy. That's
so that
crazy.
was like 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, I think it was.
What?
All rotor and snares, obviously.
That's mad.
But yeah, so that's when I went to that. And then from there, I went to the Saxon thing.
Yeah.
And for a while, I started using Pete Gill's high percussion kit initially.
Okay.
The rotor tom kit didn't have the power.
No.
Really.
I wouldn't have thought so.
And then I got a Tama kit from there. And then after that, I got a deal with Ludwig.
Ah.
So I had 2 Ludwig kits. I had one in England, one in America, and they were the ones with the big power toms that everyone was into at that time. You know,
Yeah.
take all the bottom heads, I'll shove the mic up the backside.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, sounded bloody awful actually with the mic up because you just got this. I mean, it was a great idea because you got the separation of each drum. No drum was leaking onto another one.
Yeah.
But
was that the main idea for it? Was that the main?
Sorry.
Was that the main idea for why they did that?
Yeah, I
the
think
separation.
So.
Okay.
I think so. The problem was you were getting this plastic boink
Boink.
from the head.
Yeah.
You're hitting a boink. You know, you're getting this, and but they were pretty amazing drum kits. And then after that, what happened then? Oh, that's right. Ludwig got. I think they got bought out by Selma.
Oh, right.
And I think they got bought out. I became very good friends and still am good friends with Bill Ludwig III, who's the son.
Oh, wow.
And he was the main A&R guy when I was there. Now he's got his own company now, doing drums.
Cool. I didn't know that.
They're sort of the quality sort of went down once this other company had come in. I think a lot of the metal was sort of, you know. So then I was at Reading and I got approached by Premier.
Right. Yeah.
So I ended up with Premier.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So I had 2 kits with Prem. I had, you know, what's known as the barbed wire kit. They did this like finish on it which is like, you know, just a wrap.
Yeah.
And then I moved. I got another kit off them. And then there came the break.
Yeah.
And I went. You know, I was using that kit again. But I sort of rang them up about, you know, sort of maybe getting another kit, and there was no one there I knew anymore. They'd all gone, all the people there. So the next thing was I ended up, you know, with Duelist, who I'm with now.
Yeah, you're still with them now. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got 2. I've got 1 kit here, and I've got 1 in America.
That makes sense. I remember you telling me about that one because I think it was. I think it must have been fairly new. The one you were using in Europe when we did those shows with you. Was it quite a new kit?
No.
Oh,
I
was
had
it
that
not?
quite a
Oh, right.
while. I had that. I think I got that on the which bloody tour was it? I think it was the. Was it the Call to Arms? Actually, I'm not sure. It was either the Call to Arms tour or the tour before it.
Oh, okay.
Labyrinth. I think I've had that since. That's getting on that kit now, the red
Yeah.
one. The one in America is like a blue glass glitter. So,
Right. Yeah, maybe it was that one then you said was newer. I can't, maybe I'm just making things
yeah.
up. But, oh, that's cool. No, but it's obviously
And
that's, I've seen,
I've been using Feisty since '81.
no, that's nice. That's great. Well, why would you change?
Well, exactly. I mean,
no reason.
tried to get me, and I went no.
Yeah,
No,
not a
like
chance.
that. And it's almost like with Feisty, it's almost like a family thing anyway.
Yeah,
Which is, you know,
that's what you want really, and
yeah.
they support
But-
you. And
Right.
what is? Do you mind talking a little bit about your pasty setup at the moment?
Fine.
It's always interesting for some people, including myself. I find it really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. I've got two hi-hats. So I use my main hi-hat's at 13.
Okay, quite small.
And on the next hat, I've got 14s, and
Okay.
both of them are sort of signature series, dark crisp.
Yeah.
Crash-wise, I use thin or wild rude crashes.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
Before that, I was using 2002 wild crashes, but they stopped making a 17 because I use 2 18s, 17, and 19
Okay.
crashes, and they stopped doing a 17 in the other ones. And Christian, who's the main A&R guy there, Christian said at the time, he said, "Well, try take a set of these Rudes with you as well." So I'd always had them with me,
Yeah.
and I'd never tried them actually. I was using the wilds, and I suddenly thought, I'm going to put these up, and I love them now. So
Cool.
I use those. I've got 3 Chinas.
Nice.
I use. I'm trying to think of the sizes now. An 18 Novo Rude. And then there's a signature. I think that's a 21-inch signature. I think it is, and then like a 20-inch or 21-inch wild China.
Cool.
There are various sort of like splashes and bells.
Yeah. Little tinky tonks.
Have a little like, belly, goes whatever,
Yeah. Yeah.
little things like that. And the ride is over here. I use the blue Stuart Copeland ride.
Cool. Very cool.
In America, I've got the Danny Carey one, the purple one.
Ah, nice.
And I can't. They're both sort of heavy rides. I can't make up my mind which one I prefer
Ah,
because I like
yeah.
them both. But it's I can't make up my mind.
It's hard to justify having two on one setup. I know some
No,
drummers, some drummers do
yeah,
it.
yeah. And the other thing is, I'm just sort of got some of these. What they call them, the Swiss cheese, the ones with the holes in.
Yeah, yeah. I got a couple of those.
I've just got one of those up there now. So I think the Novo China is going to be retired or go somewhere else. So I might put that there just for a variation in sound.
Yeah. No, they're great cymbals actually. Those. Of course, you. It's good to see that you like mix and match the different ranges.
Yeah,
So
yes.
you blend them together.
Yeah, and I've got a couple of little bell cymbal things, and I like these sort of things, like sort of drummer Gavin Harrison puts little
Yes.
bell things flashing. I love all that stuff.
Yeah. Ah, cool.
It's like makes your ear go, "Oh, what was that? That was nice."
Yeah, something different that stands out. Yeah. That's cool. So I read you recently recording drums for a new album again,
Yeah,
and
but last year.
Last year. So that's not released yet.
No, it's not finished yet.
It's not finished yet. Obviously, it's
No.
probably been halted now because of all this. A
Yeah,
little bit.
because of this, and plus the fact, it got sort of postponed a bit again because of this
Yes, of
thing.
course. Yeah, yeah.
And plus the fact, it may end up that we may end up doing some more songs. We had 12 tracks, I think I did, but we might have some other ideas in the interim. So maybe a couple of them will go and something else slots in. So
Yeah, I
at the
get that.
moment, I don't think there's any rush.
No, exactly. There's no rush, is it, to get it
I
out?
want to bring it out when we can tour it.
Yeah, otherwise it's kind of a waste, isn't it? So,
But I went over there and did the drum because we had all the demos, which were all done to click tracks.
cool.
And I went over to Velby, our tour manager. He set my drums up, and Jackie, our sound guy,
Yeah.
came out. And so we just set the drums up in the storage place, and I played along basically to the demos.
Nice. So there was no other members of the band there?
No,
Oh, cool.
which
Yeah.
I like recording like that. I actually
Yeah.
prefer recording like that.
I was that's what I kind of figured may have happened. And so do you normally do that? Is that the
Yeah.
normal situation?
And
Cool.
I like to do that way. That's the way I like it because it's like I've mentioned in interviews before. It sort of, I feel more relaxed
Yeah.
like that. In the past, when everyone's in there and they're all playing, it's like you're going, great. Obviously the first thing that's got to stay are the drums.
Yeah.
Everything else can be replaced.
Of course, yeah.
But you've got to have a good drum track. And obviously the better the drum track, the better the sort of basis for the song is.
Yes, of
Right.
course. Yeah, yeah.
And I found, when everyone was there, in a big studio room, and, the drums are sort of partitioned off and everything, I might be doing a great track. Someone screws up in that track.
Yeah, and then you have to redo it.
So
Yeah.
then, look,
Yeah.
say
a good
halfway
point.
through, it's like, why did you stop? I was on this. I was having a great one. So then you do it again. This time I might screw up. So then you stop again.
Yeah.
And you sort of get it in your head. Like in my head, I used to get it. I've got to get it this time because I don't want to. If I keep screwing up or something, I don't want to piss people off.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they get impatient, or you get to a point. I get to a point. I think, right, I've got to just get through this track. You wouldn't really go for it. You wouldn't take a risk.
Yeah.
Do anything to get that track finished.
Yeah. That's fair enough.
Whereas how we did, for instance, the Sacrifice album was that was great because we actually recorded it where we wrote most of it.
Nice, nice.
So it wasn't like going into a completely different environment, everything being set up. It was like just sort of your own armchair. The kit was there. It was just comfortable. I'd been playing it for weeks
Yeah.
while we were writing. So
So
it was just like going in for another writing session almost, right? And what we did this time, and we've done, with other things, is that I'll go in maybe with which guitarist plays the song the best.
Right.
Some guitarists get a riff, that riff suits them more, or this riff suits him more.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and the bass player. I always record with a click.
Yeah.
We'll put the track down, we'll play the track down. I mean, sometimes, luckily, they'll go, that's a great track, first take, bang, done. If we were well rehearsed and what have you, it's
Yeah.
great. But if I want to do it again, or the producer wants me to do it again, it's usually me because I'm quite sort of hard on myself actually, and I don't like letting things go.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to be, though. You can't change it 2 months later, can you?
So I think it's not a case of I wish I'd done that and that, So, but I've got them playing along to me with a click, so I've got them. And they can bugger off and go to the pub if they want.
Yeah.
So leave me to it.
Yeah.
So I can do it now, but I've got them as a guide.
Yeah.
So that's great, and it's click track. And no, stop there. I didn't like that, Phil. I'm going to drop in, do another one. Bang, let's do it again.
Yeah.
I mean, I did the Sacrifice. I did the Sacrifice album, including, because we were so well rehearsed, in a comfortable environment, because we'd been there.
Yeah.
For weeks, on and off. So it wasn't like, as I say, going into a strange studio, different mics everywhere.
Yeah.
All straight in, bang. I did that album in 2.5 days.
Wow. That's so fast. That's amazing.
Because I was really comfortable.
Yeah.
And it got because we've been playing quite a bit. I was quite fit.
Yeah.
And plus, I was like finishing a song, going, "Oh, we've got that one. And do the next one. Oh, first take done. Bang, that's great. I've got one more in me. Come on, let's do another one. Bang."
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I was the one going, "Come on, I want to do another one now."
Yeah, because I guess, obviously I don't know what the situation was then, but sometimes there might be reasons why the producer might want to prolong it if he wants to earn a few extra quid out off you or whatever.
Yeah, right.
Do you know what I mean?
Or he's got certain ideas how he wants things to sound.
As well, yeah.
You know, whereas, I mean, we don't really have a producer now as such. We're just sort of, we're sort of our own producers, so to speak,
No, that's cool. I like that. That's really cool.
I know my job, the guitarists know their job,
Yeah.
So we don't need anyone actually telling us what to do as such, because we know what we've got to do.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's just a great way of recording. And it's almost the same with when I've been up to Andy Sneap's and recorded drums up there. It's the same sort of thing. I like to be there on my own, just me and Andy.
Cool.
Bang, it's great. We have a good laugh.
Yeah.
Which is great. And we get on with it.
So do you ever, I guess if all the band agrees that that's okay, I'm sure that's fine. But does anyone ever say, "Oh, I don't like that fill you did on this song," later on? Or is it just tough? They just accept that that's what you've done, and that's...
Yeah, they just have to bloody accept it.
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah. So I guess that's the only...
I mean, I'm sure everyone's got their own sort of idea, everyone's got their own ideas about things, but I mean, Andy's he's pretty on the case. He'll go, "Yeah, that fill, I'm not sure that fill, well, come on, go madder in that bit." He'll say something like, he won't exactly tell me what to play, but he said, "Go on, let it rip in that,
Nice.
Go on the China there now." So we talk about it, and it's great because we want the best for the album. So it's not like, "Don't tell me I'm the drummer, don't tell me what to do."
Yeah.
We want the best for the album. So whatever, there's no sort of pride thing comes in, shall we say.
No, that's cool.
Let's do it. Bang. I mean, occasionally I'll have I'll listen to something and go, "Oh, I don't, guitarist might do a solo or something," and I'll to myself, I think, "Oh, I don't like that note. I wish he'd gone there," but that's how he felt it, so leave it.
You should leave it. Yeah, you just accept it, and that's what it was.
Yeah. Because everyone's different and has their own thing.
No, that's interesting to know that you do it that way.
I do prefer. I've got to say, I do prefer doing it. I find I can work quicker.
You can work well. Yeah, you can be more efficient. It makes sense, really, doesn't it? And less distractions.
I haven't got to worry about anyone else screwing up.
Yeah.
And if I've done, say, 4 takes, I haven't got to worry about someone going, "Oh, my fingers are hurting now, I can't play anymore."
Well, I snapped a string.
Yeah, exactly. It's just,
yeah, something like that. No, cool. That's really cool. I've just done the drums for our next album recently.
All right.
Again, we're kind of self-producing it. Todd, my brother's recording it. And we did that. Obviously, he's in the band, so it's a little bit different. But it was just me and him, and we did the drums. No one else was there, but that was because of the coronavirus. I think if we were not in a lockdown, I think the other guys may have turned up. But again, I enjoy the experience. Like, I go at my own pace. Todd just did a rough guitar track to a click, and then I played to that, which is what, like you said, if I wanted to stop, I could stop. But I didn't have to stop for anyone else. Because there was a track to play to. So yeah, it was similar, and I did enjoy it. I would do it again. I don't know if the other band would want me to do it again that way, but sometimes I like feedback. Yeah, it depends what it is, but yeah, it was definitely different because the first album we did, we when I was recording the drums, everyone was playing live with me, and like you said, yeah, there were probably occasions where or something was off, someone was out of tune, or sometimes they might just play a bum note and that pushes you off, and then it affects your playing.
That's right.
Yeah,
they go into a chorus a bar early or something.
Yeah, something like that, because it can be quite monotonous. You're playing the same song over and over again, or whatever. And I understand what it's like.
I also think, and it seems to be a sort of thing. I think for me, my usual best ones probably 1, 2, or 3 takes.
Yeah.
The first, the second, or the third. After that, it's like because it's a new track and it's refreshing.
Yes.
But we played it about 8 times. It's like, can we do something else now?
Yeah, I guess your mind starts kind of losing interest.
The other thing we sometimes do is, the first track, we put the first one down, and obviously as you're going on, you get more into it, more into the songs and more cooking. So we might come back to the first one and redo it.
Yeah. Actually, I know what you mean. Yeah. Or you'll change the sound, or I don't know what you do, but I sometimes I'll use different snare drums, or.
Oh right. Okay.
And sometimes for certain songs, and then because I had to redo one with a different snare drum after Todd said I've listened back to the original one you did on day one. I want you to redo it with this snare drum now because I think it'll be beneficial. And then I'm like, okay. So that, that was, it's similar kind of thing.
Tune the snare up a bit,
Yeah.
Sound better later on in the recordings.
And once we redid another track 2 BPM faster after we listened to it over a few days and realised, I think maybe we can bring it up a little bit. So I redid another track, but it's all for the benefit of the recording.
That's we do that as well and go, that seems a little bit franked. Let's slow it down a couple of beats,
Yeah. So. Cool. I don't even know if I mentioned this, but the name of the podcast is Drum for the Song.
Drum for the Song.
Yeah, which is inspired by my own kind of personal discipline of like not overplaying. I know I don't consider myself someone who overplays. I know that's hard to define, but I kind of don't go too crazy. I don't like obstructing the other instruments and the other parts and the vocals.
Yeah.
Is that something you believe in as well?
Totally.
It's important.
It really annoys me when I hear a totally tasteless drum fill.
Yeah.
It really pisses me off. It's like, I hate it. Yeah, you should always play for the song. Always.
Yeah, it is really important.
And it should always groove.
Yeah. Cool. I'm glad you agree. It would have been awkward if you said no. But
it's like, here we go. It's like, for me, Mr. Groove, one of the Mr. Grooves is Phil Rudd.
Yeah, totally. He's one of my inspirations really on this.
As soon as he starts playing, your feet start going. It's not the guitar riff that get you tapping.
No,
it's the drum.
It is, yeah.
We did one of these, actually one of the Monsters of Rock cruises.
Oh, nice.
Monsters of Rock, it might have been the one, we were on one in, it was, I think it was a Vacan cruise actually. I think it was in the Mediterranean. We were on there for a couple of nights. And I think Phil Rudd's band, not AC/DC, his band, whatever they call it.
I know. Yeah, they were touring a few years ago, weren't they? Yeah.
Did an album with them.
Yeah.
And they were playing on the deck, and so went up to watch them. And literally, as soon as he started playing, my feet were off. I was like, oh, yeah, this is great.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, it is.
I know there's different genres where maybe it's harder to tap your foot to, but generally the drums, it's about grooving and
it is,
and getting people dancing if that's the kind of style.
Yeah, but I just hate totally tasteless fills.
Yeah, and just in the middle of
okay, so you can do it, but so what?
Yeah.
You don't have to put it in everything.
Yeah. No, I know.
I mean, I'll give you another prime example is Vinnie Colaiuta.
Yeah.
I mean, he's on, he did some tracks on an Asia album. And there's one track he does. I mean, it just grooves like a mother. It's just great. It's just like, you know, and he's hitting bloody hell, local rockers got up.
I was going to say.
Just, you know, he's just grooving. He's putting little punctuations, a couple of little splash symbols here and there, which I love when he does that.
Yeah.
And there's nothing on it. And then suddenly he just puts in the most ridiculous fill, just one. And you just go, whoa, what was that? Now that's just class.
Yeah. He's
totally works. It's just the most tasteful fill and it's just like, oh, every time I hear it now, it's just like, oh, I can't wait for that. Come on.
Nice.
It is, it's great. And there's hardly another fill in the song.
Yeah, and it's just, that's
how good he is.
He's a lot of people's favourite drummers, I think.
Yeah.
From when I've spoke to guys over the years, and
brilliant.
He's incredible. Yeah, but he knows what he's doing. He's obviously capable of pretty much anything. But he plays for whatever song or band he's playing for. Correct. Yeah. Well, I know it's hard to be correct, but tastefully.
Yeah.
Like you say, yeah.
Yeah, you've got to play for the song, the piece of music, whatever. That's what it's about.
That's what it's about, exactly.
Yeah.
Right, so coming to the end here then.
Okay.
Saxon, you're known for being extremely hardworking when it comes to touring. I think you do a lot of shows per year on average. What is your favourite country to tour in and why?
Oh, God.
I know that's probably a difficult one.
That is difficult. There isn't one really. It's every country has its own thing. I mean, I love touring America.
Yeah, I've never done that, so I can't comment, but I would love to.
I just love touring America. But generally, I mean, everywhere is great, and everywhere the fans in each country have got their own thing, and like a lot of what I call the Latino fans, like South America, and I hope they don't get offended at this, but it's like all the sort of like Italy and Spain, you know, they go nuts. They've got their own thing.
Yeah.
You know.
I think they consider that a compliment.
You know, they do. It's meant as a compliment.
Yeah.
But fans everywhere, and I mean, the German fans were so loyal to the band. You know, when the band was down in popularity, they stuck with us.
Good. Yeah.
They're great. I mean, there isn't. You know, I just enjoyed just everywhere, and as I say, I've been to made a lot of friends in different countries.
Yeah.
And have been to countries I never would have even thought of visiting.
Yeah. And the band has given you those opportunities.
Yeah.
It is amazing. I think most people in bands who've been lucky enough to tour the world, I think everyone appreciates that part of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. And so, every country's got its own identity. The fans have got their own identities.
Yeah.
You know. So it's great.
Is there a particular cuisine you like in the catering in any of the countries that you look forward to?
Now you're bloody talking.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I love Italian food.
Yeah.
Holland does the best ham and eggs anywhere.
Does it? Okay.
God, yeah. Holland's ham and eggs. Whoa. It's great. Italian food's great. No, I mean, everywhere. I mean, we did. I mean, South America, they're all big meat eaters. Steaks and stuff.
Yeah, they're known for that, aren't they? Yeah.
I've never eaten much steak in my life. I mean, my favourite food's Indian food, but we haven't played it.
Same here. Yeah, same.
But in German food, I love German food.
Yeah,
love it.
Yeah, cool.
So, no, great.
You love food then.
Yeah, I do. I love food.
We briefly mentioned.
A lot of.
Yeah. Oh, go on. Yeah, that's good. We briefly mentioned earlier that my band Bastard Sons played some shows with you a few years ago. Yeah. One of my favourite memories I think it was the last show. We came into the photo pit during your encore with a bunch of pizzas because we noticed that you guys were ordering pizzas
Oh yeah,
after the show. So we thought,
yeah.
oh, we will prank you. We'll make out we're eating your pizzas in front of you. They were actually we ordered them ourselves to kind of prank you, but
The one I remember about that last gig was your dad setting off a stink bomb.
oh, that was the same night, was it?
I think it was.
Oh, well, apologies for that. But
Sweet.
what I was going to ask, what kind of pranks have you been victim to,
Yeah, well,
which aren't my dad? I assume he's probably done a few to you. He's known for it, so
stink bomb ones. Oh my god.
yeah. I know they're terrible.
Oh, we've had. I mean, in the 80s, who was it? We had. I think Riot were playing. That band Riot were playing with us. I think it was Riot. And oh no, it wasn't Riot actually. No, someone. No, it wasn't Riot. It was a band called Hanover,
All right.
and it was in. I think it was in America, and then, like a load of bloody blow up dolls ended up on
Oh my
stage.
God.
We had who else? We had Molly Hatchet, which was the first US tour I did with the band. The last gig they released about God knows how many ping pong balls onto the stage. They're all up in the,
Like they dropped onto the stage.
oh yeah, there
Oh
were
my God.
loads of them. Yeah, I think it was ping pong balls or tennis balls. It was one of the two
Something
anyway.
like
So,
that.
yeah, but we're the ones that usually do the pranking.
Ah, cool. What are your most memorable pranks then that
Oh, there
you've
was one,
given?
for instance. There was one when we toured with Motley Crue in the States on what was their second album, the big album that broke them.
Yeah, I'm not that familiar with it, the album titles, to be
It's got
honest.
the Looks That Kill on it anyway,
Okay.
which is their big song. And me and Dobby, dressed up as girls, went up on stage.
Oh my God.
during the song. It was hilarious.
Oh wow.
And we were like singing backing vocals with it. It was great on the stage. And sort of had these sort of stuff looked like mini skirts on, Not
Amazing.
not a pretty sight. We had a good one with Maiden as well, actually, when we toured with Maiden. We had custard pies.
Oh
You
my
know,
God. Yeah. Oh wow.
And we came over the bloody, underneath the stage into the orchestra, the pit,
Yeah.
and over the front of the stage and bloody pied him. I went literally right up behind Nico. Nico's
Oh my
drumming
God.
away. He looked at me and I went,
Oh my God.
we did, oh God, what was the song? Me and Dobby did it again, actually. Charlotte the Harlot, I think they were playing or something. So went up and sang backing vocals dressed as birds,
Ah, nice. No, you've done your, I didn't. I know you've done your fair share. Then I remember
Oh, yeah.
Biff put some chili sauce in our salsa in one of the
Oh,
gigs.
yeah.
We didn't even notice. That was a failure, but that was tame, I think.
Yeah, no, I did that with, I bought this one, oh God, what was it called? Black Mamba.
All right.
And when Doro were on tour with us and they were sharing our bus. And Baz, one of their guitarists, he calls me the chili assassin now
Okay.
all the time because I had this stuff. You only need a few drops. And I just went right in
Oh,
his
wow.
bang, and he ate it. And it went bang. He calls me the chili assassin now.
That's a cool nickname. That's pretty cool. Nice.
No, we have fun. We have good fun. Nothing's done in nastiness.
Yeah, I think there's only so far you should go.
Yes.
I think and there's boundaries. I think with the pranks.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I don't think anyone should do pranks sort of, say, all the way through someone's set or something. That's just,
Oh no, Nah, that's stupid.
Just a quick thing at the end, but it was really funny. The maiden one was great because we got them all except Bruce ran a mile.
Ah.
As soon as we saw them coming over the front, he ran away.
Damn it.
Got everyone else there.
Yeah, that's amazing. But like, it's like being on the road is, you know, you can get bored, and there's something you can do to just keep yourself occupied for a few hours. Is plan a prank.
Yeah.
Is there like, are there any other like hobbies or interests you do on the road to kind of keep yourself busy? Because apart from sound check and the show, I guess you've got a lot of time to kill.
Sleeping.
Yeah.
No, I read quite a lot.
Okay, yeah. Reading.
But that's about it. Just
Yeah,
reading and walking around with headphones on, listening to other music and stuff, you know.
Yeah. Do you like to go explore the cities and stuff, or I guess you've done that enough?
Sometimes, but I mean, you know, for instance, let's take as an example, you know, when you've been to Munich, say 30 times.
Yes, yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, maybe it's
really.
You don't need. Yeah.
On the other hand, you might go, oh yeah, I remember that bar. Yeah, we'll go to that bar after the gig.
Yeah, and then.
Good. I quite like doing that after a gig. Actually, finding like a nice bar near the gig and just sitting in there for a couple of hours.
Yeah, it can be nice, can't it? Yeah.
Chill out, have a few beers and chill out. You know, it's great.
Yeah. I noticed you like your beers.
Oh yeah, I do.
I've seen your social media posts. So, do you have a favorite or favorite type?
IPAs.
IPA.
IPA and double IPAs.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I like basically those, and I like quite a few of the stouts as well. You know, chocolate flavored or coffee flavored stouts and stuff.
Yeah, they can be really interesting, can't they? When they.
Oh yeah. But no, all the IPAs. I mean, there's different ones. There's East Coast IPA, you know, American East Coast. There's West Coast IPA, which has got a different flavour again. And,
yeah, I know that I'm really up on the. I love trying.
Yeah.
I love trying beers. I've always been into it since I was about 18. I worked in a real ale pub, and I got into it then. But it's all changed since then with all these craft breweries and.
Yeah, I mean, I have to chill everything now.
Yeah.
I like it all chilled, whether it's a stout or what. I mean, some of the, you know, the hardcore probably go, you can't do that, but I like them in the fridge, chilled, whatever they are.
As cold as possible, yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
I don't like it warm.
No.
Don't like it. And, you know, there's a pub in Austin. I think it's called the Flying Saucer. I never got the chance to go there yet. And they've got over 100 beers on tap.
Whoa. That can be messy. That can be messy. I think for people like it sounds like you like trying different beers like I do. I enjoy the variety of it. Even like, I think some people they'll find one they like and they'll stick to it. They're not as adventurous, or they're afraid that they're going to buy a pint that they don't enjoy, which I can understand. Because I've had many pints I don't enjoy, but I just like trying something different.
Yeah, no, I mean when we were you know living in the States, because I was living there for the past 3 years.
Yeah,
and near where we were, there was a sort of bar called Hops and Thyme, as in thyme the herb.
Yeah.
Miami, and that was great. They had about 30 odd on tap.
Nice.
But they'd give you a little glass. They had a whole menu, how it was described. What is it? What type of? What is it? And you know, do you want to try a bit? Yeah, okay. And they give you a
little taster. Yeah.
Hey, you have a pint of that then.
Yeah, I think a lot of places do that now, and
yeah, they do. I think it's great.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe not everyone is aware that they offer that service. You know.
But then, so there was that, and then there was another one about 5 minutes away from where we were living called the Ginger Man, and they had about 50 odd. On tap.
Nice.
And it was great. And they had this one by, I think, what's it called? Alaskan Beer Company, I think, was the company. And they had this one called Spruce IPA, and you could actually smell spruce in
Spruce,
it.
wow.
Fir tree sort of thing.
Wow.
It was beautiful. Lovely. You know.
Good. Well, yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of beer drinkers out there. My little brother who plays bass in the band Tyler, he's big into it, and he's got those beer subscriptions, so he gets them sent to the house every week or every month or whatever it is. So he's always trying different ones.
Oh yeah. No, I've got a thing. I haven't got a regular thing, but I've got a thing with a couple of online companies. So
yeah. It's a good idea.
Yeah,
it's a good idea, especially now.
Yeah, exactly. Just try different ones out.
Yeah, that's good. Cool. Right, this is the final question, and it's a question I'm going to ask everyone that I interview.
Okay.
In this situation, excluding members of Saxon, what other musicians, dead or alive, would be in your dream band with yourself on drums?
Oh God.
I don't know where you start, but it'd be interesting to know what your dream band would be.
God. Probably Tony Banks on keyboards, who's the Genesis keyboard player.
Yeah, cool.
God. This is a hard one.
Yeah, I thought it would be hard.
Oh, what a
You've done it.
night.
You can mention multiple guitarists if that makes it easier. You don't have to choose one or two. Yeah. A few bands out there have many guitarists.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Oh, there's just so many. There's so many musicians I admire. You know.
Yeah.
You know, I think John Petrucci of Dream Theater is an amazing guitarist.
He is amazing. Yeah.
You know. I think it all depends really on what sort of material you're going to play.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, Joe Bonamassa's a great player. Brilliant.
Yeah.
I've really started getting into some of his stuff. Actually.
Yeah.
Great.
He's insane. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that track, what's it called? India, I think it's called. Oh, great.
I think I know the one, yeah.
Bass player wise, well, I mean, Geddy Lee's a pretty amazing bass player.
Yeah.
I mean, again, Alex is a great guitarist.
Yeah.
You know?
He often gets overlooked. From what
yeah.
He's amazing, but the other guys get the limelight a bit more, I think. It seems.
Yeah, but he uses some lovely textures.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I don't know. It's impossible. Vocal-wise, no idea.
No idea.
That actually, the guy that just died. I'll tell you what. I hadn't really heard them before, but I was listening to that guy Brian Howe.
Right.
That singer guy.
Yeah.
He died a week ago or so. I was just listening to a couple of Bad Company albums he's on. They sound great.
Really?
Yeah, great voice. Great voice. I don't know, Brian from, what are they bloody called? Diamond Head's a great guitarist.
Who was that, sorry?
Brian Tappan.
Oh, right, yeah. Quite a few.
He's a great, yes. I mean, there's just too many. I couldn't.
Okay.
I mean, keyboard player again, you know, I mean, Rick Wakeman. I mean, he's brilliant. There's just so many.
Yeah. Oh, you mentioned a few names there, so that's interesting.
Yeah, you know, it's, again, I say it depends what sort of music you want to play.
Yeah. Well, whatever music you wanted to play, I guess. But I'd find it difficult to answer that. So that's why I'm asking it. It's just a difficult question.
Think about it.
Nah.
Think about it.
Yeah, that's cool. That's all good. But well, yeah. Thanks again for.
You're very welcome.
I know it's taken fairly long, but no, I think there's a lot of interesting information there for people to take in. I'm not sure. Maybe you've mentioned some of the other things in other interviews in the past, but for people who listen to this,
some things I get asked, so I do mention. But everyone's different sort of angle on it. Depends how it's asked.
Yeah, and I'm hoping this podcast is going to appeal to like other drummers. So it's good that we nerded up a little bit about the drums. Yeah. And stuff like that. So yeah, but glad you're well, glad you're safe.
Thank you very much.
Really hope the kind of music industry gets back on the road soon. So we can all get to work. We got bills. We all want to work. Exactly. There's a lot of everyone, even the all the crew and your roadies and stuff, I think they're struggling with stuff to do. So hopefully we can get back on the road as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Catch up at a festival or a gig in the future. That would be amazing. But yeah, thank you so much for taking the time.
Well,
And yeah, and we'll catch up soon.